Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. It's been a while since I've had a chance to talk to you guys. I have been under the weather and was quite ill for a while there, but thanks to Ryan and Kevin really for helping me out with filling in some of my time here while I've been out with this. I actually got sick on Christmas Day and the day after Christmas, that time period, and I just really never got a chance to fully recover. I'm still not there yet, but I'm getting there, closer and closer each and every day. And I'm glad to come back and have something to talk about, because I was going to be really depressed if I had to come back and talk about warm weather. So at least we do have some items to talk about. So obviously the system this weekend is getting a lot of attention. You guys are curious about that. We'll discuss that in detail in a second. First off, notice the stats, by the way. Still staying at a trace. This is one of our latest dates that we were having to wait for measurable snow on record for Louisville. It doesn't mean anything, because last year, yeah, we had 3.7 to date. Well, we got that in November. We didn't have anything until January 23rd last year, and then we ramped up in a hurry. And we very well could see the same thing. So just because we're getting a late start does not mean anything. On the board, it's the most we've had in a while. 4 systems of interest. One being, of course, Sunday, Tuesday, next weekend, and then a few days after that. And I'll try to cover as many of these as I can. I have a time limit on these blocks, so I don't have a whole lot of time to discuss. But here's the setup. We had that system come through this morning with a warm front that gave us the rain, and now it's giving a few showers in our southern Indiana counties as it's drifting off to the north and east. Now our next system, this is the main guy, and the models really have done a really good job, considering that the times I was able to look at weather data, really not a whole lot has changed since I first was looking at this setup back on December 26th. It was looking toward this date. This system was really showing up pretty much as planned. It was going to be one wave come through with rain, and then the second wave will be the one to go rain to snow. We've got several warnings out for severe weather across the south, even a couple tornado warnings. A lot of large hail, by the way, with some of these supercells. They've been breaking out across the Arklatex region of the country. As far as alerts go, we do have the severe thunderstorm watch to the south, but the winter alerts all the way through the Ozarks. Now it stops in St. Louis, and then you can't see it, but it picks up again around Chicago. Winter storm watch in effect. And as you guys, most of y'all know, different weather offices, different regions have different criteria for whether it's a winter weather advisory or winter storm watch or winter storm warning. I mean, there's different criteria that are decided upon, and it depends on how much snow falls in a certain time period. And for wave country, we have to deal with the Indianapolis Weather Service Office for you guys from Seymour all the way back to Bedford, Indiana. They control you guys, so you guys have different criteria. Most of wave country is controlled by Louisville, so we know the criteria for that. And then we have one county in our area, it's Carroll County, that is controlled by the Wilmington, Ohio, Cincinnati area. So we have to keep an eye on 3 different weather offices, so we understand it can be frustrating sometimes when weather alerts come out, especially in the wintertime, but that's the reason why St. Louis is not filled in, is their criteria is a little different than apparently than what Springfield, Missouri is. But still, the same amount of snow in general is likely to fall in this zone here. So if you are traveling in that area, that is still where the heaviest band appears to be. But what's going to happen here is our biggest debate and question. And it's different here that we are talking about is that worst case scenario, and I'm speaking as a snow lover here, worst case scenario, we get nothing. The snow melts on contact, doesn't stick, and precipitation ends. Best case scenario, again, speaking from a snow lover, is up to 2 inches. So at this point, 0 to 2 inches appears to be the range that I am seeing on the potential that this system has as it moves through the area. Now, we are likely going to fall in that range from one end of our viewing area to the other, and likely on the lower end of that range, and I'll explain why. But just to give you an idea, that is the best worst case deal that the system has as far as its potential right now to give us. So here's Futurecast. Overnight tonight, not much drop, little shower activity. Tomorrow's highs will struggle. It'll depend on if we get any sunshine to break through these clouds, and I do think there will be some breaks. I saw some today in Arkansas ahead of the low. It wouldn't surprise me to see a similar setup tomorrow. If we do, we'll easily get close to 60. And then as we get into the evening hours, that's when the rain will break out, even some thunder. But the low on the RPM model, our in-house model, as well as the NAM model coming in, is you're seeing a moment has shifted and deepened slightly as we head into Saturday night and Sunday. So because of that, Not only could we see some thunder get a little further to the north tomorrow night, perhaps to Frankfort and Lexington has the best chance to see some thunderstorms. Still not expecting severe. And maybe this actually would be a band of rain and high wind that we'll have to watch around Evansville that could develop as we into Saturday evening. That's the main circulation of the low right there. It moves on by. As it does, the trend now, earlier, it was really struggling with this. The trend now is to expand what we call the deformation band, which is the comma head of the low pressure. It's deformation bands in meteorology that give us the most surprises when it comes to snow, because they control the snowfall rate. Anytime you talk about banding features, you can control the rate, and it can't overcome a warm ground. It depends on how long it stays over you. And this is going to be pretty progressive on this low pressure. So the data this evening on the in-house model is to increase the deformation band, make it a little more focused, a little heavier on the rate, but it is a faster low. So the question is, the time that it comes through here is going to be nighttime or daytime. At this point at 4 a.m., we would still have some nighttime to work with. That would be in our favor, because we don't have the battle of the light of sun to help in any type of melting process. So that is interesting to see the trend here on the data here this evening. That moves through around 6 a.m. Again, faster. This is about 2 hours faster on the speed now of this low compared to what it was earlier. And then it's out of here, and then we stay cloudy, a few flurries around, and then just stays cold throughout the entire day into the evening time frame. Now, the RPM model, again, the in-house model, because of that deepening of the deformation, the low pressure, and the tightening of the deformation band, the rates have come up to allow the potential for a few spotty areas to reach 1 inch, if not exceed it. But again, it's spotty. It's really hard to draw a snow map when you're dealing with banding features, because it could literally mean the difference between Fern Creek, as you see here, picking up 1.5 inches of snow, and downtown Louisville gets nothing. That seems to happen anyway, most of the time. But that's kind of the scenario we're looking at. So that's the one in-house model. The new NAM just came in. Its latest look has increased the potential for the snow here for a lot of us, 1 to 2 inches, and trying to get spotty 2 to 4 inches of snow on the NAM model. Problem is the NAM model is a little aggressive, I think, on the potential here for the heavier snow bands to be over at a slower rate, only because I'm concerned about the idea the ground's warm for one thing, and there will be some melting that'll take place. Here's the morning run, or the midday run of the NAM model. This is what it had for Sunday morning. Not that impressive. And then here's this evening. You see how it's deep into low, and again, the deformation band, or the comma head, a little more potent. So it is an interesting trend. It is worth watching. The Schref ensembles that we look at, it's a different, the black line's the main one to look at here, and it's given us less than a ½ inch, but there are a few members, notorious, by the way, for given higher totals, that are going 1.5 to 2. Just a few. Here's the Weather Service. I love this from Weather Belts. It's good at map. This is the Weather Service forecast, and it kind of puts all the forecast offices together. Excuse me. I thought I was going to get through without coughing. Puts all the Weather Service offices together, and it's giving basically about 1 to 2 inches north and dusting for Kentucky. But again, if these trends hold that I'm looking at now, we will have to shift that. Or they will have to shift that. So considering that, this is the map I've drawn as of 10 o'clock. I will see if I need to adjust it anymore by news time. I'm debating on it. At this point, though, because again, it's going to be so hard to pick out any area that could exceed an inch because of the banding features. It's really hard to pinpoint that this far out. But right now, I have increased at least the coverage to get at least a coating of snow over a good chunk of wave country. I think that potential has increased based on the short-range model data coming in, but the amounts are not that dramatic. But I know it's a difference between a bare ground and a ground covered in snow. So I get it. It is a big difference, psychologically speaking, when you look out the window. So that's the reason why I'm trying to nail this down the best that I can. But that is my latest thinking. The other story I need to point out is going to be the wind chills. Forecast wind chills into the evening hours, single digits by Sunday night. That's going to be a big story. We've got another clipper that's going to come through on Tuesday. Could give us some snow showers, enhanced snow showers. Got to watch that. Could pick up another ½ inch of snow out of that area. And then the weekend system, we'll keep an eye on this. There's going to be a southern low pressure developing across the weekend here. And we'll see how this plays out because there's going to be a lot of cold air to work with. The question is it going to be too suppressed, or is it going to allow the low to come up? Because here's the jet stream pattern. This is the Canadian ensemble, and I love how this is looking because you're getting a ridge here. You're getting energy, cold air discharge being brought down from Canada, and you're still getting the effects of El Nino. Low pressure is moving in across the south. All it takes is a phased system and you've got a snowstorm in the southeast part of the country. And this looks locked in to the rest of the month, if not longer. So the question is it going to be too suppressed where we miss that entirely, or is the cold air not going to be as strong and we get more rain to snow scenarios? Can't answer that just yet. We've got enough to deal with just for our light snow event on Sunday. See you at 11.